Hey everybody, it's Glenn back in this video with NECA's recently released Alien Queen Deluxe action figure. Yet this ain't no ordinary action figure review. It's an action figure comparison with McFarlane Toys Movie Maniacs version of the Alien Queen from back in 2004. Get away from her, you bitch! Language, please. So here they are going nose to nose. Well, if the Alien Queen had a nose, that is. But you get what I mean. McFarlane's Movie Maniacs Alien Queen on the left of the screen, and NECA's Alien Queen fresh out of packaging on the right. So you know how my action figure comparisons work. We take a look at the various aspects of each action figure, comparing sculpt, deco, accessories, and articulation. Then you guys declare a victor of the comparison in the comments below. Now just look at these. This has to be my biggest comparison to date. If I pan side to side, you can see that my review station can't even contain both of them. They're huge. It's gonna make using my usual split screen comparison real tricky, but let's dive in and get the flavor of each one nonetheless. I think immediately apparent is the difference in scale and deco. NECA's is substantially bigger than McFarlane's, so representing bang for your buck. But when it does come to bang for your buck, McFarlane's Alien Queen had something up her sleeve which we'll return to later. But first, the deco. McFarlane's is mostly a black base plastic with application of dark grey highlights, and you can notice a gloss finish to her crown, whereas the rest appears largely matte. NECA's has a more metallic look with shiny blue highlights. It makes it less dark in comparison to McFarlane's. Then there is also some bronze highlights, probably most noticeable along the spines of her tail. To my eyes, these different finishes lend the McFarlane one a more organic look, whereas NECA's is more biomechanical looking. Now taking an even closer look, and the expression on the McFarlane one is fixed in a sinister grin or snarl. It's not immediately obvious, but the teeth do have some translucence to the plastic. Now if you're familiar with Aliens, then you'll remember the Alien Queen first appears as her head slides down out from under the crown. Well, NECA's recreates that, kind of, except you're sliding the crown back over the head to reveal it. I think it's one of those things that back at NECA HQ sounded like a good idea on paper, yet in practice it makes an already awkward figure to handle even more so as it slides around in your hands. Yet better conceived is the head itself. The teeth are more obviously translucent, appearing like shards of glass. Plus the jaw is articulated, with articulation being something we will return to later. But first we get an interchangeable second set of jaws and a third one. The first shorter and the second fully extended. Let's place the shorter one in her mouth. There is a peg hole in the back of her mouth which you need to line up. It's a bit fiddly, but there, it slots in. I do think that to allow space in the mouth for the jaw to hinge up and down, that once pegged in, this inner jaw does sit a bit too high. Don't really look poised to extend. If they did, it looks more like they'd take out her upper teeth with them. Let's see how the longer jaws look. These being longer are much easier to insert. With those, she's ready to menace Ripley as she recoils inside her loader, bravely battling the Alien Queen. As with the smaller set though, when the jaw is fully opening, the position is too close to her main upper jaw. Yet that these interchangeable parts exist at all are the cherry on the cake. Continuing with the food metaphor, and among the cream of the sculpt of NECA's Alien Queen is the hands. The fingers are so long they're almost like the spindly, spider-like legs of a face hugger, and the holes in the hands really sum up an alien biology, and no doubt make it really difficult for her to handle change with coins falling through her palm. I watched Aliens about 2 weeks ago. It's amazing how you can have seen a movie so many times, yet somehow something new strikes you. And for me, that was that although unseen, the Alien Queen takes an elevator following Ripley from the Queen's nest in the bowels of the colony to the docking platform. I now want to see a special edition with the Alien Queen smushed into that elevator as she extends one of those creepy long fingers to press a button to operate the elevator. Anywho, the hands of the McFarlane Alien Queen don't have the same feeling of menace. The left hand especially, I've never understood what it's supposed to do. Carry a gaslight? As she wanders around the darkened corridors of the colony. Hello, Ripley, where are we? By the way, in case you're curious, that gaslight is courtesy of the WWE Elite Collection Bray Wyatt figure. Now destroying some of the movie magic, but in the movie the Alien Queen puppet was hung from an overhead crane with two people inside operating operating her 4 arms, and then others off camera operating rods and wires and hydraulics to move her. That complexity was called for to bring something of the highest fantasy to life. Equally, bringing these Alien Queen action figures to life in plastic presents that same problem of how are they going to stand. NECA achieved this by propping her from underneath. It comes with this plastic clip with ball ends that sit in 2 recesses just behind the second set of arms. Into that you insert a metal rod, the other end of which inserts into a plastic base. If you remember my review of NECA Spider Gremlin, then you might remember that stands similarly by being propped from below. At least there though, the rod was clear plastics and not quite as clumsy looking, but then the Alien Queen is a heavy figure, so perhaps requires the uglier metal rod. I don't know. At the very least we get 2, this shorter one and a longer one which enables more upright poses so she can reach those dirty magazines on the top shelf, or you could place her at your feet as if she's begging for treats. So the longer rod is one I'm not likely to use. I think the shorter one is more useful to pose her as if she's menacing Space Marine action figures, or in this case, the Hulk? Might seem like a strange figure pairing, but when the Hulk was exiled during the Planet Hulk storyline, he did align himself with a Brood Queen, which are essentially Marvel's rip-off of Aliens. When it comes to standing, McFarlane's approach differed. Here we get a display base, styled after the kind of great flooring we see in the colony in Aliens. Her feet have metal spikes that insert into this base, then we get this second part of the base which can clip on. It features a colonist with a chest burster hatching from her. Really, it's as much of a work of art as the figure itself, made of a hard plastic for the architectural parts, then mixed media with string as a dangling wire I suppose, and then the alien secretion that secures the colonist in place is a rubber material. It's like the guys at McFarlane Toys knew the Alien Queen would need a display base to stand, so they went to town on it, giving it attention to detail in the sculpt and deco that doesn't take a back seat, essentially forming a succinct diorama with the action figure. This Alien Queen is over 10 years old now. It's just hard to imagine something like this existing at the equivalent price bracket today. It harks back to a time of more value for money, the serial cost cutting we have seen from toy companies over recent years having taken their toll. Not that I'm saying NECA's is a product of that industry cost cutting mentality. Their Alien Queen itself exists more in spite of that. Frankly, I commend NECA for being able to do what they've done for the price. Not only is it a huge killer sculpt, but it packs in the articulation in a way that puts McFarlane's in the shade. That one has 0 articulation in the legs except for a swivel hip allowing the body to move up and back down. In comparisons, NECA's also swivels at the hips, but then it also hinges out to the sides. It has a hinge knee which also swivels, a reverse knee that again hinges back and forth and also swivels, then rotation at the ankle, plus it's also hinged there, then the toe pivots. They're sure packing in the posability. McFarlane's fares better with the arms, as in addition to a swivel at the shoulder, they do at least also have a hinge, but the level of posability seen in the legs of NECA's is also there in the arms, even in the smaller second set of arms. So whereas with McFarlane's those were just a single piece on a rotating ball joint, the second set of arms on NECA's has multiple points of articulation, each with both a rotating swivel and a hinge. However, take my advice, I'd approach these with caution though, as they don't feel the most durable joints. Kid gloves recommended for sure. With the McFarlane Alien Queen, her neck is a rubber coat, hiding some form of articulation under there, making the head posable. With the NECA version, the neck is hard plastic as with the rest of the body, and has multiple points of articulation at the base of the shoulders, then also further up the neck, then the head itself also articulates. Then something they both do share in common when it comes to posability are their tails, both of which are a hard rubber with a bendy posable wire inside. So all things considered, let's now imagine Ripley has set the self-destruction sequence. Which Alien Queen would you grab as you flee to the evac pod? Forget about it, 1992's Kenner Alien Queen, you're in way too deep here. Me personally, I'm going with NECA's. While I do wish the deco of it sat somewhere between the style of the two, yet its posability is really quite admirable. In comparison, McFarlane's is more a statue with some limited articulation as a bonus, which may well suffice for many a collector, stick it on the shelf and admire it. And to that end, NECA probably didn't have to go as far as they did with with the articulation, but at a time when many toy lines consist of heavy reuse of the same old parts, it's pretty mind-blowing to have something so distinct and unique. Sure, it has a pretty hefty price tag, yet honestly I'd have paid more, and I can't really offer a better endorsement for an action figure than that. Let me know what you guys think. Pipe up in the comments below, click the video on the right for more NECA figure reviews. I'd appreciate it if you could give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.